Yo guys, what's up? It is Ripe again, back with episode 61 of our Reddit series, and I hope you're ready to get annoyed at some entitled people. But before you do, did you know that more than 50% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel? I would be very happy if we could change that, so hit that subscribe button because I upload daily. But now, without wasting any more time, let's dive right in. Family assume my driveway is a free parking spot on my tablet, so I hope this turns out okay. This happened to me a few years ago, and I had recently moved to the north of Scotland, where I now live, and was staying with my mom and stepdad while getting a house sorted. They went away on holiday for a fortnight, so missed all the fun. I came home from work one afternoon. I started at 4 AM and finished at 13:30 to find a car blocking the driveway into my house. Having a small car, I parked at the top of the drive, blocking them in. My parents live out in the sticks on a single track road, so I could not leave my car where it was because I would have been blocking the road. After an hour, I saw someone approaching the drive and taking pictures of my car. I went out and confronted them, and the conversation went like this. Me, why are you taking pictures of my car? EP,
because you parked illegally and blocking my car in. I'm going to call the police if you don't move your car from my neighbor drive.
Me, this is clearly my parents' drive. Did you not think it was odd having to walk out of someone's garden to get into the neighbor? EP,
well, it wasn't very clear, so you can move so I can get out.
So I get my keys and move, and then park my car and think nothing of it. Next morning, I leave for work, and once again, I find the same car parked in my parents' drive. This time, I go knock on my neighbor's door and ask him to get his friend to shift it, only for my neighbor to ask, "What friend?" I pointed to the car and told him what happened yesterday. Turns out, the brat was not his friend at all, but liked to walk around the woodland path near our houses. 20 minutes later, he finally appears, smirks and moves before saying, "EP,
I will be parked here tomorrow too."
So once again, I go to work at stupid o'clock, and when I get back, lo and behold, the brat has parked there again. This time, I decided to teach him a lesson. I had 2 days off, so I went to the shops and got some shopping and a rather large amount of alcohol, which was Strongbow and Savannah dry cider if you're interested. So I got home, parked as close to his car as I could, making sure I was safely off the road. I went inside, made some dinner and started drinking. About an hour later, there's a banging on the door. Me, yes? EP,
move your car, it's blocking me in and my family want to go home.
I look out and there's this rather embarrassed looking family sitting in their car. Me, sorry, can't, as I took another drink from my cider. Been drinking for a couple of hours, probably over the limit, so I don't want to risk it. EP,
what? Why are you drinking when you knew I would be wanting to move my car?
Me, I'm off for the next 2 days, so I fancied a drink. EP,
I'm calling the effing police.
Yeah, you do that, before shutting the door and popping into the lounge to watch TV while also watching them through the window. About 2 hours, apparently the police had trouble finding my house. Later, the police arrive and speak to EP before they knock on my door. Me, yes officers, how can I help? Police officer 1, why are you stopping EP from leaving? So I began explaining the events of the previous days and mentioned how I had told him he could not park there. I also explained that I had been drinking and was probably over the limit, so I could not risk moving my car. Police officer 1 and 2 agreed that I was correct to not drive while intoxicated. They then asked what insurance I had. I pointed out that it was named driver only, which basically means that only people whose name is on the insurance can drive my car, so they could not move it for me. EP,
come on, just make him move his car.
Police officer 2, just going to get the breath analyzer. Blow into this please. To me, you're about 2 times the legal limit, so I'm sorry but you cannot move your car. Police officer 1 to EP, sorry but he's over the limit. You will have to leave your car here and come back tomorrow. EP,
what? But how are we meant to get home?
Me, the bus stop is about 2 miles down that road. You will get to the bus to insert city at this time or insert town at this time. EP,
but the bus doesn't go anywhere near where we live.
PO2, we can call you a taxi if you want, but you will need to pay for it. EP,
he did this deliberately.
Me, yep. Fast forward to the next day, the police arrive with him in their car, and before they ask me to move my car, they decided to have some fun. PO1, we just want to check you with the breath analyzer again. Big deep breath please. EP looking more and more worried. PO2, you're fine. Can you move your car please? Me, of course officers. PO1 to EP, don't park your car here again. EP could not even look at me, just got in his car and drove off. Later that day, I decided to build a gate for my parents. I actually loved how the cops also had fun in this one. If you guys have any annoying neighbor stories to share, please do so in the comments or on r/ripestories. I have upgraded to first class. Background: airline captain commuting to work purchased a full fare first class ticket to get there. I lived in Atlanta at the time, domiciled in Houston, and commuted. Normally you could get a jump seat in the cockpit, but on this auspicious day that was already taken. Pass riding wasn't an option because there were no seats in coach and only one in first. Pass riders can be bumped for fare paying passengers. And I needed to get to work, so I plunked down my credit card and bought the last seat in first. Boarding has occurred and I am peacefully in my seat waiting for pushback. The cast of characters is me, commuting pilot, EW entitled woman, FA flight attendant, CPT, captain of the flight I'm on. EW,
You are sitting in my seat. You will need to move right now.
Me, checks boarding pass. Nope, this is my seat, not going to happen, sorry. EW,
You're an employee. You're sitting in my seat. Move now.
me, may I see your boarding pass? Clearly there's been some mistake. EW,
You may not see my boarding pass. I showed that when I boarded. I've upgraded to first class. Now move.
me, you will need to resolve this with the flight crew. I'm a passenger. EW stomps off, resembling an irritated Dolores Umbridge, and returns with FA. FA, good morning captain, may I see your boarding pass? Me, sure thing, shows boarding pass. FA, ma'am, that is his seat, he paid for it. EW,
Well then throw him off, dear. I've upgraded to first class and that is now my seat.
FA, I will need to see your boarding pass, ma'am. EW,
You will not. I showed it when I boarded. I've upgraded to first class.
FA, how did you upgrade to first class? EW,
I upgraded to first class. I'm more important than an employee. Now get him out of my seat.
someone has called the cockpit and the captain has left the flight deck to deal with this. Captain, ma'am, I'm Captain Wallaby, not his real name. I've just spoken with the gate agent. We certainly apologize for this awkward situation. The agent has corrected your paperwork and has a voucher for future travel for you as well. Please go fetch your new boarding pass and your voucher and we'll be on our way. EW departs up the jetway, a triumphant smile on her face. The captain returns to the FA and says, prepare the doors for departure. The doors close, the captain returns to the cockpit, and as we push back from the gate, I can see the EW pounding on the glass next to jetway. It was a nice ride to Houston and the coffee was wonderful. Well guys, you all know what would have happened if the person in the story had been on an United Airlines flight. Post some stars in the comments if you know what I mean. Entitled person wants my car, calls cops, and they cannot force me to give it to you. This happened about 3 months ago. I've had my car for about 6 years and it's not my day-to-day car, as that is a work van. The car's been modified to suit a disabled driver. It's nothing fancy, but I've had it resprayed in a pearlescent paint, a nice-ish sound system and a few other minor things to make it more comfy on the long drives the wife and I go on without the kids. It is usually parked in a 2-car garage along with the family people car. So about 3 months ago, a friend was getting married, so I had decided that as the kids were with grandparents for the week, as it was a messy wedding with drinks and drugs as it's friends from the rave scene, so we took my car. The wedding went off without a problem and we get to the reception. It's on a small farm on the outskirts of a large British town. As I was staying sober, as I had to drive home after the party, I was asked to do a drinks run to a local supermarket, so I've parked up and gone in. Got the booze and I'm heading back to my car and I see a younger lad around 25 stood looking at my car. As I unlock it, he looks over and says, how much would you sell it for? I reply with, I'm not going to sell it. The cast is EG entitled guy, me for me and Cope for C. EG,
You say that, but I'm offering cash today.
Me, I'm never going to sell this. The car was brought by my wife as an anniversary gift, and I've spent 3 times what she paid for it on making it my own. E.g.
2 grand cash today.
Me, I spent more than that on the paint job, and the answer is still no. E.g.
4 grand.
Me, no, just bugger off. I'm too busy to deal with your stupidity. I get in my car and think that's the last of it, but clearly I was wrong. I pull up onto the farm and I'm unloading the car when a cop car pulls onto the land, flashing lights, the works. Thinking a fight might have broken out, after all it's a wedding and not everyone gets along once drunk. But the cop walks over to me. Cop, excuse me, is this your car? Me, yes it is, thanks, is that a problem? C, well it was just reported that this car was stolen. Do you have any identification and proof of ownership so I can run quick check on it? As I'm handing the cop my bits, the guy turns up with a mate and jumps out of the car and starts shouting. EP,
that's the guy that stole my car. I just brought it off him and he left with my car.
Police officer, is this true, sir? Me, no officer, he asked me to sell it. I refused because the car had been modified for a disabled driver and he's clearly not disabled. The security I had sorted comes over and asks his mate in the car to get off the land as it's a private party and the police would assist if needed. His mate left, leaving him stranded at the party. EP,
I paid for it and I want it.
Police officer, so did you buy the car and have you got proof of sale? EP,
no, but I have the 1 grand that I had paid for it on me.
C, well he clearly didn't sell it if you still have the money. EP,
it's my car and I want him arrested.
C, as far as I can tell, you didn't sell it and you're wasting police time. If you leave now, I won't arrest you. EP,
I'm not leaving without my car.
Next thing I see is EP being arrested and thrown in the back of a police car. By the way, I just noticed EP and EG is obviously the same, sorry for that. The cop had given me my stuff back before arresting EP, but came over and apologized for wasting my time. I never heard anything back, although the officer took details, but it was only 3 months back, so I still could, I guess. As someone mentioned in the comments on that post, it's really astonishing how you can buy something by offering to pay for it and then keeping the money. But also in the end it's interesting how the police usually side not with the crazy entitled people, but instead with the OP. By the way, if you have watched this far, please post some stars in the comments to show me that you are one of my ripe stars. Apparently, no return signs are just for show. Right after university, I got a job at a big department store that was not Walmart and was a whole lot more red. Unfortunately, as a non-American, I'm not sure what store he's talking about. Please tell me if you know what he means. So anyway, about a year and a half into my employment, rumors started circulating that the store was claiming bankruptcy in my country and was to be shut down. My specific store ended up being one of the first to have a set close date, so immediately liquidation signs went up. By the next day, everything was marked down and we had big "no returns" signs plastered all over. It was all over the news. Our cash registers had the return function locked out and big signs hung from the ceilings that told customers that all sales were final. Of course, many entitled people came through arguing about prices or trying to return stuff. When we explained that our cash registers would not even let managers process returns, most just accepted and left in a huff. All except one customer. She was trying to return a toaster she got at a liquidated price for $10 earlier that day. I explained to her over and over that there was no way I could return it and pointed out the signs and pointed out the no returns policy on her receipt. Now by this point we all had enough of crappy customers and even our managers had given us permission to get snippy. We had like 7 days left until we were all out of a job, so what did we care? Needless to say, I was actually ecstatic when this customer threatened me.
I'm going to go to the media about the poor customer service. I will protest outside and make sure everyone knows what kind of business this is.
So I just smiled. 7,000 people just lost their jobs and this store won't even be here next week. What the F is your protest going to accomplish? You are being a bit of a Karen. So she asked for my manager and I happily got her. Right in front of me, this lady told my manager that I had called her a Karen. My manager looked at me, then looked at her and said, Well, have you tried not being a Karen? This entitled woman lost her crap, threw the toaster on the ground and demanded corporate's phone number. We gave it to her, but at that point the number was no longer in service. I did not bother telling her that. It was nice to see an entitled woman finally not get her way. That has to be a nightmare for all Karens. When the managers don't give a crap anymore and when even the corporate phone number is out of service. Entitled mother burns their precious baby with hot sauce. I posted this in r/malicious compliance and a few people said to also post it here, so here it is. So a little backstory. I work in a store that has samples, and one sample is a really spicy hot sauce. It makes grown men cry. Kids are not allowed to try that sauce unless they have permission from a parent. So there's one boy and his mother, EK and EM, as you probably know. EK tries some of our sauces, mostly mild one, slightly spicy, but he found that spice way too hot. EK eventually notices the super hot sauce and wants to try it, to which I say, "Oh, you cannot try that without parent permission. It's insanely hot and causes grown men to cry." EK, "Oh, okay." I thought that was the end of it. Boy, was I wrong. EK tells EM what I said in some twisted way or something, but didn't hear. EM comes up to me and says,
How dare you? Tell baby boy he cannot try the hot one. He's way stronger and smarter than you. He got all A's in 3rd grade. A stupid retail worker at a tourist town is too stupid to understand. So just do your job like you are trained to do and let my boy try.
Me, already annoyed, "Ma'am, I told your son it's very hot and very painful and he shouldn't try it. But if he had parents' permission, it's okay." This is when I had the idea, under one condition of course. EM,
Well, hurry up and tell me what to do. Your presence is killing my precious baby boy's brain cells.
Me, "Well, all you gotta do is sign a form saying you knowingly and willingly allow your child to try the hot sauce. I just have to write one up of course." EM,
Yeah, whatever. Just hurry up.
So I wrote a basic form along the lines of, "I hereby allow my son to try the very spicy hot sauce at insert restaurant." Now she had already bought something in the store using card and had to sign the receipt, so I asked her to sign the form the same way she signed the receipt, for extra proof that she agreed. She quickly signed the form I wrote and EK dunked his sample stick into the sample as far as it could go, which is about an inch deep, and cleans it off in one go. Now when I said this sauce is very spicy, I was not kidding. Jalapenos rate out 1500 to 2000 Scoville units, whereas ghost peppers rate out at 1 million Scoville units. This sauce rates out at a whopping 750,000 Scoville units and uses pepper extract to reach that heat. And if you didn't know, pepper extract is an oil and oil will linger in your mouth. So this sauce will burn for a good 20 minutes. A good 1 second goes by after EK tried the sauce till you saw his face contort into sheer terror and agony. He started crying, blubbering, screaming, incoherently speaking at the same time. It was quite the sight to behold. EM,
What have you done to my baby? He eats hot Cheetos all the time. He can handle hot. You must have poisoned him.
Hot Cheetos don't even really get as hot as jalapenos. Me, this sauce is far hotter than a habanero and at least a few hundred times hotter than hot Cheetos. EK, in barely recognizable English, Mommy, it hurts. EM,
I'm gonna sue you for poisoning my baby. Now give me chocolate milk for free.
We sell chocolate milk for $1.50. Me, I'm sorry ma'am, but I cannot do that. I was trained to only sell the chocolate milk for $1.50 per bottle, so you have to pay just like everyone else. At this point, she's screaming so much you could probably mistake her for a flock of chickens all getting strangled or something. But I just ignored her till she stormed out in a huff. It's just fascinating time and time again how condescending Karen is, and also how cheap she is because she did not even want to buy the chocolate milk for her child, which is clearly suffering. By the way, that reminds me, Ripe Stars, do you guys enjoy eating spicy food? If you do, please tell me what kind of stuff you like to eat. For me personally, spicy food is not really a passion or something, but since I've lived in Asia, Thailand to be specific, I am very much used to spicy food. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, please don't forget to like the video to help me out, and also subscribe if you haven't already. So I hope you have an amazing day and I see you again tomorrow.